Now groin pain, just right here, the front crease is what it tends to work well with. So a lot of times people will be diagnosed with hip flexor syndrome or groin pain, adductor strains, or hip impingement. So these all work very well in our clinic for this. Check them out. We're gonna blow through each one very quickly. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. That's where we post these daily.
Guys, you've been having hip flexor pain right here and it just feels like you're just having to rub it and beat it and you pay for a weekly massage and it just never tends to go away. You don't have to do that. You can do something different, which is strengthen the glutes. And I don't mean strengthen the glutes as in like a willy-nilly way. And go ahead and push me out a little bit. And so I'm gonna be real nice to her, and you notice that she's very calm on the face. She's just relaxed. I don't want that. I want her to struggle a little bit, okay? And so I'm gonna push her in a little bit. This is a buddied glute exercise, and just beat me, and then slowly let me win. Beat me, and slowly let me win. This is unscripted. She looks like she's just struggling right now, okay? So what we want is we want the glutes out here to start to really fry. Push me out and now bridge up. And when she gets those glutes really active, not like semi-active, but really active, a lot of times this groin pain goes away. Surprising. Give it a try. And so go ahead and we're gonna do something else called a buddy squat. And so give me your hands here. You can actually do this on a door jamb too. Just give me all the weight of your body. And so she's letting her hips just kind of relax and sag into this position. The cool thing is that this tends to work really well for reducing pain if you do it for a couple days rather than stretching. If stretching is creating the problem, surprisingly this tends to work and you don't even have to stretch it, and a lot of times the things that bother you like squatting and sitting deep will actually just go away. So a buddy squat, try it out. We're gonna try something different. Let's do something called a frog pose in breathing. And so all she's gonna do is just let her back round here a little bit and just breathe into my hand or into the pockets there. It's gonna seem like it's not really doing much because you're not gonna feel a stretch, you're just gonna feel normal, okay? That's the cool thing with doing first aids for things like hip impingement or hip flexors, is we chill it down and we just build it up again. So spend a couple days doing this, broken up throughout the day. Surprisingly, the things that bothered your hip prior won't bother it anymore. Give it a try. Go ahead and relax and let's go on the ground. We're gonna do something called a quad rock. And we're gonna do it from a low kneeling, elbow down position. And so what's gonna happen here is basically she's gonna rock back and forth into a squatting pattern. She's gonna allow the hips to round back and let the back flatten or even round into kind of like a turtle hump. What this does is it helps pattern the squat and let some of the muscles just turn off that have been helping out too much. Typically that groin pain is a hip impingement. And so when those muscles go haywire in there, all we gotta do is chill them out, repattern the squat for a couple days, and we should be good. Give that a try. We're gonna try a bear crawl, but in this case, I want you to push the floor away to really get the shoulder blades active, to stiffen the belly, and I want her to round her back a little bit more. Good. So she's gonna go forward and backwards. And so she's gonna go to the point where she literally feels like she's just smoked, okay? The cool thing is you use the arm especially to push yourself back, like push, push, push. You'll get the belly to work. What this does is actually it gets the belly wall to help out with the hip. A lot of times hip mobility drills don't work because they don't have stiffness of the torso involved with getting the ball and socket to work independently. Give that a try. So we're gonna do something called a wall bug instead. So she's gonna scooch a little closer there and then push her hands firmly through the wall and leave these hips and knees really high for now. So if you push hard, you'll get your belly to stiffen. When the hip works really well, it's when this is stiff and then we move the hip slowly back up. Let's keep the knee bent and just heel tap on the floor. There we go. Just alternate for me. Notice she's getting nice and big right here. She's not trying to be slender. A lot of times when the harder you get the belly to work, the more it'll offload the hip. And surprisingly, this stuff works really well to chill down pain associated with groins and hip impingement and hip flexors. Give it a try. And so she's gonna do something called the smoker squat, okay? The cool thing with the smoker squat is that it decreases hip impingement on a lot of people. She should be able to chill here for like 20 minutes because she's got a long cigarette, Virginia Slim. So she's just gonna hang out here, just relax, just breathe, take big puffs. And typically what this does is it decreases the bruise that happens on the front side of the hip because it's being smashed on too much. So sometimes too much hip mobility is not a good thing. Sometimes we just need to chill it out. Give us a try for a couple days, see what happens. And so we're gonna do something called a downward bear. Not a downward dog, a downward bear, because I want her to keep really bent right in here. And so what we're doing is we're using the hands to push, which creates some belly stiffness here. Notice that although we're not really squatting, the hips are moving into a squatting pattern, which a lot of times triggers people's groin pain or hip flexor. So do this until your belly wall feels really tired or your arms feel tired. And then you'll probably find out that actually this will help out with some of the movements that were painful before. Give that a try. I'm going to show you an exercise that can be very helpful. We call it tenting. And so tenting is basically what it sounds like. Tent up, pick up, pick up, pick up. Good. And even more. Up, up, up. Good. So she's shaking at this point, and she's actually taking these elbows and pulling yourself in. Hold for 5, relax down, and go again. So what this does is it turns the belly wall on. What we know is actually that the hip flexor and the groin tends to reduce when we have a more active belly wall in front. And so we're going to double down on that and basically use this for a couple days and see if the squat gets better. A lot of times it will. Give that a try. So we're going to do something called the accordions, okay? So the accordions is like she has a hand and a knee attached to accordions. She's trying to smash them down to the ground and make that sound that accordions do, okay? What she's going to feel is this bottom side hip start to really work, and she's going to go to the point where it's really challenging and then try the other side. After that, just go ahead and try to squat again. You might be surprised all the groin pain went away. What we know is actually when the glute is worked, it'll support the hip. So give that a try. If this works, reach out to us. And what we're going to do is something called tenting with a little bit of an arm reach. So she's going to tent, up, 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 good. Slide the arm and back again. And then do the same thing on the other arm, slide the arm and back again. Go ahead and relax. So I'd suggest doing one side, other side, and taking a break. Go ahead and up, up, up. The important part is, can this get up? It should feel like your belly's working a lot. What this does is it helps the belly wall stiffen enough so the hip can actually move without any problem. And so once she finishes, we'll have her stand up again and squat, and I bet a lot of it goes away. Give that a try. If it works, shoot us a message. What we're going to do here is something a little different, and we're going to take the foam roller out of the equation because a lot of times it doesn't really work long term. And we're going to do something seemingly very simple, but she's going to hide her butt. And so this exercise is face down. Just make sure your elbows are by your face. It shouldn't create any shoulder problems, and she's going to keep tucking her tail. Okay? What you're going to notice here is she's creating space here so I can just come underneath. Okay? That naturally occurs when she tucks her butt, and she's just going to hold for about 5 seconds and breathe throughout the process. Try this for a couple days and then see if it actually makes your hip flexor feel better. You might be surprised. And so she's going to do something called skull crushers. And so when she does this, she's just going to keep the knees and feet high. And that's important because if they're not high enough, she'll trigger the hip flexor again. I want you to smash my hand. Smash my hand. Good. And she's going to keep that kettlebell moving overhead. And the goal is don't lose this right here. If she wants to add a little bit more, let's drop one heel to the floor and come back up and then alternate. So this is something that actually helps out a lot when people have groin pain with squatting and lunging. Give it a try. Okay, a pole bug is just like it sounds. She's dead like a bug, and let's go. I'm going to let her win a little bit, and let's bring the hands a little bit down. Good. And so I'm going to pull. Okay. And so what she's doing is she's using her belly to stop me from pulling her down. And just hold this. I'm going to let me win really slow, and then beat me. Now, if we want to use the hips into this equation, move a heel to the floor. Move a heel to the floor. There you go. And we're going to alternate. So this is a progression of this exercise. Not everyone can do it, but there shouldn't be any groin pain with this. Surprisingly, when you get up and you try moving the hips again, it's going to feel really good. Try this for a couple minutes. See what you find. We're going to try something different today. This exercise is going to seem very unconventional because it's an arm one to cue the belly to get the hip to feel better. And so all we're going to do is I'm going to have her push me up really high, like I'm an acrobat. High, high, more, 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 more. Good. Hold me. Tap one heel to the floor real slow and the other side. Notice that what she's doing here, her belly stiffens. And all I'm doing is I'm a driver for that. When we get the belly to work, the hip will work better. Okay? We can also have her feed or pull me down like we're doing a press with a kettlebell or something like that. And then slowly press me up. So that's an exercise that typically works a lot of times for belly people or for hip people. Give it a try. You might be surprised. We're going to do something called the 90-90 rescue position with breathing, all right? The thing is, why it's called 90 is because she's 90, 90, 90, but if you were dressed like you're in the 90s, you'd be much cooler, but you're not. It's too bad. That was the best time for style. So all she's going to do is breathe into the hands right in here, and if she feels it in the groin a little bit, she just has to bring the knees out a little bit and just hang out. If she still feels it, she can bring it a little bit closer. And surprisingly, if you observe, a lot of times people have pain with squatting because their hip is at a full flex position. She's at a full flex right now and she probably doesn't have any problem whatsoever. So spend a minute or two in this position, just chill it down, build it up, and all we got to do is just make it feel better after a couple of days and we should be money. Well, we got something else you can try because stretching apparently isn't working for you. Let's try something like a curtsy squat. Please, sir, can I have some more? More, more, please. So what she's doing with the back foot is she's crossing midline, and with his hand she can actually cross midline too. What we're going to look at here is the foot. She's got the whole foot on the ground, and actually she's starting to shift her weight a little bit to the side there without losing contact here. What this does is this gets this hip to start working. That's all we want. We want the glute to really be fried in this, and what we find later is that actually within a day or so, a lot of symptoms of the groin goes away. So give this a try on both sides. And so we're going to do one simple thing is we're going to subtract this symptom generating movement. And so she's going to widen her feet. Her feet are a little bit more in contact with the outer part of the chair, and she's just going to sit deep. A lot of times just simply doing this, it can take people's problems away. What we can also do too is we can actually spread the floor in half. Act like there's a seam in the floor there and you're trying to spread the floor. It's going to seem silly, but what you're going to notice is actually the knees start to come out a little bit. All right? When you get the knees out a little bit, it tends to decrease compression at the hip, and a lot of times people tend to feel better. Give that a try, and really pay attention to your squatting for the next couple days. We're going to try something different. We're going to have her target the chair right here. We call this a chair or a box squat, and we're actually going to, did you drop this? She's going to put it around her knees. All she's going to do with this is she's going to press it out. That was a Catch Me If You Can reference. I don't know if you, oh, watch it. And so we're going to spread the band, try to break the band and sit deep. Surprisingly, a lot of people notice that actually the groin pain tends to go away. And so all we need to really do over the long term is get the glutes more involved in the squatting movement. This is not the only exercise for this. It's just an easy little test you can use to figure out if your groin pain is actually hip impingement. Give it a try. One of the simple things we can do is add a little bit of belly pressure, and by this we can do it with a medicine ball, or you can do it with anything really. And so she's going to pull that into her belly, and when she squats down, the ball is going to sit between her thighs. And so she's getting to the same deep position, but the harder she pulls it in, usually the less groin pain you feel, and you can get deeper and deeper and deeper. All this really means is if you use this exercise as a training tool, then we can actually help the body kind of figure out what it's looking for to take pressure off the hip, while you can actually go through the squatting pattern. So if this works for you, good for you. Give it a try and message us. Let us know what happens. Well, we have a simple remedy for you, and it's actually going to be called a Rafiki squat, patent pending. I don't know if anyone's ever done this yet. So we're going to leave it right there, and we're going to pull the stick down and pull, 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 and sit back up. Okay? The whole time she's going down, she's pulling down. They call it a Rafiki squat because of Rafiki the monkey in Lion King. He's got a cane. I guess we can also call it a Gandalf one, yeah. Lord of the Rings. Either way, pull yourself down. You might find that actually the belly stiffens and the groin pain stops. All this means is you have a chance. Message us, let us know it worked. So go ahead and go to the ground for me, and we're going to look for a big change within within less than a minute. Obviously with this video, it's got to be less than a minute because it's Instagram. We're just going to simulate part of it. So go ahead and break the band for me. Break it, good. And do as many bridges as you can. Now, keep breaking it. Wider, 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 wider. I bet you guys thought these were actually to help build a booty. They're actually to help people too. So she's going to do about 50 of these. Good. Let's take that thing off. Immediately, you go back into the squat, the same squat that you did, and let's just see how it feels.
Oh, well, that is better.
It's a lot better. So that's called an audit process. What you should expect when you go to a sports medicine clinic or to a place that does rehab, you should feel an immediate change by doing something active. Give it a try. Call us if you have a problem. So I want you to just look off the cliff here and just almost like you're bowling. Good. So now, hang in that position. Just stay right there. And so I like to call this the stork, okay? And so you're a stork fishing. There's little fish down there, okay? They're very attentive about what you're doing. And so we're going to take that leg over there and move it a little bit this way, but stay still, and move it back and stay still. Keep going, and I want you to see if you can get that foot to almost hit this kettlebell back here, which is right about here. And so at some point you start to feel this hip start to wake up. Good. And so keep going until you can't anymore. We'll do both sides and go ahead and squat again. And we're going to accelerate this because it's Instagram and they should give us more than a minute. Good. How does that feel?
Feels much better.
Feels a lot better.